Hey friend, welcome back to the Special Kind of Motherhood podcast. Have you ever cleaned your kitchen with some kind of a cleaning product and then 5 minutes later you noticed that your head was pounding? Or maybe you've eaten something at a restaurant and then immediately after you had massive brain fog and you felt really bloated? Yeah, I have had that happen too. And the thing is, when this happens, it's usually our body's way of trying to tell us that something we've interacted with or ingested is not sitting well with us. So let's talk about why that is. Welcome to the Special Kind of Motherhood podcast. This podcast is for busy moms who want to feel their best and create a healthier home without stress or confusion. If you're ready for simple, practical tips to boost your energy, nourish your family, and make wellness a natural part of your everyday life, then you're in the right place. From easy wellness hacks to natural living tips, my goal is to help you to take small, manageable steps that lead to real, sustainable results. Because taking care of yourself shouldn't feel like just another chore. Let's dig in. Hey friend, have you joined our free Facebook community yet? It's the perfect place for exhausted moms who are trying to feel better one small step at a time. Inside, we talk all things simple, healthy habits, natural remedies, low-tox living, and finding real energy again, even when life is crazy and your symptoms won't quit. You'll get encouragement, weekly wellness prompts, and a safe space to share what's really going on behind the scenes. Plus, we'll go deeper into each podcast episode so you don't have to do this healing journey alone. To join us, just go to bit.ly/motherhood-community. That's bit.ly/MOTHERHOODCOMMUNITY. Or you can click the link in the show notes below. I can't wait to meet you inside. All right, friend, I'm so glad you're here. Lately, have you had this feeling of just being like stuck? Maybe you're feeling exhausted or your body just feels off. I know I've had those seasons, and I want to talk with you today about the world of hidden toxins. And we're going to talk about what they are, where they come from, also how they impact our health. And we're also going to talk about why detoxification is not just this trendy buzzword. It is actually foundational for our true healing. As I've shared with you guys before, there have been seasons in my life whenever I really just couldn't explain how awful I felt. My energy levels were just completely tanked. I couldn't focus. My digestion was off. And I just, like I said before, like sometimes you just have this feeling where your body just feels off. You just don't feel your best and you can't even really say what it is. You just don't feel normal. And I know I've had those experiences. And one day, I stumbled on this idea of environmental toxins. Actually, I started way back when my husband and I were trying to conceive our first child and we were dealing with unexplained infertility. And I had realized that a lot of the personal products I was using had like false estrogens in them that could be messing up my hormones. And so that's kind of what got me started. And then over the years, I've just dug in deeper, especially as my children have had various health challenges and struggles and stuff. It's just something I've been learning over the years. And what I realized is, we have toxins in the air that we breathe. We also have toxins in our water, our skincare products, our cleaning supplies, even your mattress, your clothing, your sheets. It honestly can feel extremely overwhelming. And I think that we do have to really balance that with doing the best we can and then letting go of the rest. But, there was this area where I was able to start to see, okay, whenever I can focus on changing what I have the power to change, then I am noticing major lasting changes in my health and in the way I feel and also in my children's health. And what I noticed is whenever I started to reduce my exposure to these toxins and then I also started to support my body's ability to detox, that's whenever I really noticed a big shift in how I felt. And here is the reality that we're living in. The air that we breathe often contains pollutants and chemicals. Our drinking water may have traces of heavy metals, lead, mercury, chlorine, and it also can have byproducts of different pharmaceuticals that have been flushed into the system. So overall, our water can be a huge source of chemicals and toxins that we are ingesting without even realizing it. Bath and body products that you're using as well, even the ones that are labeled natural, can hide endocrine disruptors like phthalates and parabens. That's kind of what I touched on earlier with my journey of infertility, was really realizing that I was putting a lot of endocrine disruptors on my skin and not noticing it. Okay, then also our cleaning supplies can release VOCs, which can irritate your lungs and also really burden your liver. And also the food we eat, processed, chemical-laden, and often sprayed with pesticides. So even newborn babies have been found to carry over 200 chemicals in their umbilical cord blood. Isn't that wild that they are exposed in the womb to that many different chemicals? And the thing is, we know that, like I said, we really have to balance this with, okay, that we know all of this is there, and yet we can't completely remove all of our exposure to toxins. So let's figure out ways that we can reduce as much as possible. And so we know that toxins are going to interfere with normal physiology, which is just the way that our body operates and functions. And how this looks is that they can disrupt your hormones, they can overload your liver and create imbalances in your gut. They also can contribute to inflammation, to autoimmune disease, infertility, like I said earlier, brain fog, anxiety, digestive issues. Really, the list goes on and on and on. So if you have been struggling with chronic symptoms and you're feeling like you're just spinning your wheels, then I really want to encourage you to consider if possibly toxins could be a hidden piece of the puzzle of what's going on with you. And the thing is to realize is it's not your fault. And also there's some of this that you just don't have control over it. And so you just have to do the best you can. And what I like to say is whenever we know better, then we can start to support our bodies better. And here are some signs that you might need detox support. If you have consistent fatigue, bloating, constipation, or digestive issues, brain fog or difficulty concentrating, chronic skin issues like eczema, rashes, acne, if you have anxiety, irritability, or mood swings, frequent headaches, and then also, this one was a big one for me, chemical sensitivity. So perfumes, cleaners, all that type of stuff. If you are noticing when you're exposed to them, you get a headache afterward, or that you just cannot tolerate that, that can be a sign also that your body needs to detox. Most fragrances they still do, but not as much as they used to. They give me a massive headache after being around them for just a few minutes. And then switching to fragrance-free laundry products, soaps, all of that made such a difference for me in the frequent headaches I was getting. And then also learning how to support my detox system in my body has been very helpful. So do any of these symptoms sound familiar to you? I know that you can be listening to this and think, oh my goodness, this feels so overwhelming. What should I do? And I just want to encourage you that there is good news. God has designed our bodies to detox themselves every single day. So you don't have to do this harsh, extreme program. You don't need to starve yourself. You don't have to go on a multiple day juice cleanse. You just have to learn to support the beautiful detox system that you already have. I want to, over the next few episodes, we're going to really dig into exactly how to do that in real life, doable ways. Until then, I want to challenge you to focus on swapping out one product in your home for a lower detox or a lower tox version this week. So an example of this could be switching out maybe a natural cleaner. So maybe you have like a really chemical laden one and you find one that is a better option than what you currently have. This could also look like switching to maybe a fragrance-free laundry soap. It could look like the perfumes or lotions or stuff that you're using that have a lot of chemicals and fragrances in them. Maybe you switch that out. And like I've said before, this does not have to be like, okay, we're switching this out and I have to find the best, most expensive thing possible. Work with what you have and start with one thing at a time. And just remember that you can choose something that's better than what you had previously, and maybe it's not the best possible, but it is a step in the right direction. And then as you get further along this journey, you can continue to improve the products that you use. Kind of similar to a few episodes back when I was talking about sunscreens, how, I had gone from the traditional to choosing something that was better. And then now I really felt like I was in the space where, okay, I can really dig in a little bit deeper and choose what I feel like is the best option. And so it really is just taking that path. And so I want to encourage you to pick one thing this week and focus on that. And then I would love for you to come over into our free Facebook community and share that with us, what the one thing is that you're going to replace this week, and maybe even share what it is you replaced it with. You can find us in our free Facebook group at bit.ly/motherhood community. All right, friends, that is all for this week. Remember that I'm going to be touching on all this. We're going to be digging into this over the next several different episodes. So I cannot wait to get into this with you guys. I feel like it can be such a life-changing thing to really start to focus on detoxing your body. All right, friends, remember, take a deep breath, give yourself some grace, and remember you are doing better than you think. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. I'll see you back next time.
Hey mama, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If so, would you take 30 seconds to share this with a friend who is wanting to live more holistically without the overwhelm? Also, don't forget to head over to Apple Podcasts to leave me a review. It blesses and encourages me to know that this show is helping you. All right, friends, it's time for me to go work in the garden and make some homemade bone broth. I will see you back next week.